everybody, this is the All About You project. We're going to be focusing on the elements of art, lines, shapes, and colors. So first of all, you're going to start off with either making your name or doing a shape. Now, it doesn't matter which one you start with. This sheet says draw a shape in the middle of the paper first. I had some students who wanted to put their name and then the shape around their name, so whichever you're more comfortable with. Then we're going to be dividing the paper into sections. Okay, you need at least 6, but I did 8, so they would be equal sections. And then you're going to fill in each section with interests that you like, things that define you. So for example, we could do, I did my favorite book, I did my favorite flower, food, I did a hobby, another sport or hobby, I did my dog, I did camping because that's what I do with my family, and I did some crosses to represent Christianity. And then I also made polka dots behind my name because I love polka dots. So there's all kinds of, I have another assignment that did kind of a similar thing. We did our favorite school subject, sport or activity, favorite place, favorite food, your age, a favorite hobby, a favorite book, writing out your name, your favorite animal, your family, movie or TV show, say self-portrait, your favorite song or music, favorite color, and drawing your eye color. So it really doesn't matter what you fill it with, but you're filling it with things all about you. So to begin, start with a blank piece of paper. Okay. And again, it doesn't have to be fancy schmancy drawing paper. It can be just computer paper, something without lines. And let's see here. It said start with drawing a shape. Let me do that first and then fill in my name. And then I'll do another one where you start off with your name and then do the shape, whichever is easier for you. We are not just writing your name like you would write on the top of your paper to turn in. We're designing your name. So creating block letters, there's different types of fonts, cursive, things like that. Think of when you're on the computer on Word and you can change the font. So it can be kind of crazy font and the more different, the better, right? So you're not just having your boring writing out your name, okay? So to begin with, I'll go ahead and do a shape. On this one, I did kind of a blob shape. On a few of the other examples, on this examples, it was kind of a zigzaggy shape. There's a circle, an oval, a triangle, whatever shape you'd like to do, okay? So how about I have my ruler here to make my lines nice and straight, and I'm going to do a rectangle, okay? So I'm going to do it right in the middle of the paper. Let's see here. I have an 11-inch paper, and so here's the middle here. And let's see here, 8.5. So that's around here. So here's my middle, okay? So I'm going to create a, let's see here, let's do a 5-inch rectangle, okay? And I'm going to draw very lightly to get that line in there, but if I want to move it up and down, I can erase it. So let's go here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just using the rectangle for straightness, or excuse me, the ruler for straightness, right? And the more I draw lightly, I can go back and fix those lines as well. So here, I'm gonna fill in my name. I'm gonna do my first name. You don't have to do your full name. It can just be a first name. On this one, I did Mrs. Bocook, but this one I'll just do my first name. And say, I'm gonna do cursive, okay? And I'm gonna do lightly, and I'm gonna go all the way up. And you can go outside your box if you'd like, or later, I can always tuck that back in. Okay, now I have a little bit extra space here. I can always kind of cut that off. I can always go back and kind of move it over however you want. I'm just gonna cut it off for time purposes. I'm gonna make this guy a little straighter. He was kind of crooked. Okay, so to make my font wider or bold, if you look here for creating block letters, the trick is to trace it out or write it out, right? Let's do an S, okay? And again, I'm drawing very lightly. And then an easy way is if you think of it as a road that you drive your car down, think of this as the middle line, right? The middle dashed line. And just follow this line to make the other side lines. And that way it'll be nice and even. And then you cut it off, and then you can erase that middle line. Some of my other students, they actually liked the triple line effect, so they kept it as their design, which you can too. But if you're going to do that, you can even do it with cursive, right? It's the same thing. Picture this line in the middle of your road. So you're going to make it thicker on both sides, right? Now these ones, these letters that kind of intersect, you're gonna have crisscross basically, right? So you can make it thicker. Okay, so I'm not going to do my whole name because you kind of have the idea. It can be any kind of font, any kind of, can have like arrows in it and things like that. I colored mine black, but you are more than welcome to leave it empty and color different letters. Let's see here. So then, and actually, if I didn't want it to come off of the square here, or excuse me, the rectangle, I could even make it a bigger box and then erase my original line. That's the key to always drawing lightly, okay? So now let me go ahead and do my name first, and then you can do your square or whatever shape you pick around it. So I'm gonna speed through here. Here's this is not how to do block lettering because it will be uneven and stuff. So do it the way I do it, but I'm doing it really quickly just so you'll get the idea, right? I'm drawing really lightly so I can go back and erase, right? So I'm doing my letters, doing my name. Now, bam, it's right in the middle. Now I need to do a shape, okay? So I can do a wavy one, I can do a circle, any kind of shape I want. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of do a crazy line shape. It can be kind of just random. Let's make this one go up and then go down, right? So it doesn't have to be anything in particular. And notice I'm moving my paper around to help me be more comfortable with the way I'm drawing. And voila, there is your name and there is your shape. So either one, right? And they both give off two different types, right? Two different feelings. So whatever you're going for, I'm gonna keep this one. And the next step is to divide your sections, or excuse me, divide your paper into sections so you can fill in your interests. So next is to pick a type of line. This one has zigzag lines. This one down here has wavy. These ones are straight. On my example, I had a wavy kind of shape, so I decided to go with the straight lines, okay? But you have, and I have attached all of these worksheets to the assignment, so if you need to look at examples, but think of all the different types of lines, right? You have straight, bumpy, loops, swirls, on and on, right? So I am going to divide my paper into, let's do wavy lines for this one. So the best way I did it was I go corner to corner, okay? And again, especially with wavy, it doesn't have to be completely straight. So I'm just gonna not worry about my ruler, and I'm just gonna go wavy down, so corner to corner. Wavy, wavy. So now I have 4 sections. Like I said, you need to have at least 6, or you can do what I did on this one to kind of make them more even. I did the full 8. But for this one, let's just do 6. And I'm gonna go up, down. So if you count it out, I have 6, but as you can see, this one's larger than the other one. So that's why I decided to do 2 more, to half it in 2. So now we have our paper. Now is the fun part where you can decide what kind of decorations you want to put in your spaces here. Now, here are some examples. We have video games, we have soccer balls, pizza, Legos. I forget what this guy's name is, but he's from a video game. Pets. All right, we have sewing, we have painting, all kinds of art supplies. Rainbows, Legos, popcorn, chicks, pirate kitties, lollipops, right? So we have all kinds of different things. Now, if you notice a big difference between theirs and mine. Now, obviously this was colored, but I printed it off on a gray printer. But as you can see, mine's a little better, if that makes sense. It's a little bit further advanced. And so these are elementary examples. This is an elementary school lesson plan, but we're gonna take it and do it a little bit better, do it a little bit more to our level. So when you do things like this, I want you to focus on design, right? Cropping images. See how this baseball comes off of the space? This one does too, right? Different sizes. So if you look at the soccer balls on here, they're all the same size, right? My baseballs here are some big, some small, some go off the page. They're kind of just floating around, right? I also have a background. I don't just have a green background. I have a baseball diamond. I put some bats in there. And then the rest of the stuff, I made an American flag because baseball is America's pastime. So, think of the different ways you can make your space more interesting and make it full, right? You don't have any empty space. On some of these, you have empty space here. How can you feel it? Okay. Let's see here on camping. What I could have done was I could have drawn a camper and a campfire and a tent and all these other items, but instead I decided to make a scene, right? So I'm pretending I'm there in the woods with a camper, with a campfire, right? So you can either do a bunch of different items kind of around, or you could make a scene, right? You can have one object as the main focus, and then around it, it has like little fun things in the background. For the crosses here, I wanted a silhouette, which means kind of like a shadow, and they don't have any details. So to make it more interesting, I wanted to do something special in the background. So that's why I did some kind of fading with the colors, right? I went from yellow, orange to red to make it kind of look like a sunburst or a sunrise. And that gave more detail to my background, which compensated for the lack of details in the cross here. Okay, so I want you to mainly think of what you like to do, but when you focus on your artwork, you're focused on the actual design of each space. How can I fill that space? Obviously, you need to make it nice and neat. Fill up the whole space, and think about colors, right? When I was coloring this, I started off with objects that I knew what color they were, right? So I started off with coloring my pretzel, coloring my flowers. I know that the fire is going to be brown, and the fire color is yellow and orange. My trees are green. My baseball field is green, right? I did all the objects that I knew what color I was gonna do. Then I kind of go back and I choose colors for different objects, right? So you don't want it to have way too much green over here and not enough over here and that kind of thing. So think about what colors you're putting where. I saved this for last because I wanted to see all the colors that I had, and I hadn't used a lot of orange. So I decided to use orange in the middle to really make it pop. Okay? So take your time on these, fill in all your sections, design it really nice. And like I said, I don't mind what you put in there. Think of all the things, like if you can't think of something, think of, okay, well, what's my favorite animal, or what's my favorite food, right? Think of a favorite movie or a TV show or a book, and fill in all your sections, just so I can know a little bit about you, okay?